Took the screen. Back to Boston. Mismatch against Alicia Gray, and she buried it. Biggest lead of the night, and it's taken away by who else? Mitchell. Lexi Hall buried it to beat the buzzer. The flourish at the end of the third quarter for Indiana in a game they have to win, and they're up 15.
When the refs tried to steal their season, Aliyah Boston decided to steal it back. After the controversial end of Game 1 left the Indiana Fever feeling robbed, a quiet fury was building behind the scenes. The world thought the team was broken, especially with Caitlin Clark watching from the sidelines. But when Boston finally spoke after their stunning Game 2 victory, she exposed a truth about this team that nobody saw coming, and it changes everything.
Game 3, baby! Game 3! See you in Atlanta. Not done yet.
One more.
Jump in the chat, baby. Come on, come on.
Need that.
One more game, baby. One more game.
The anger heading into Game 2 was palpable. Fans didn't just feel disappointed by the Game 1 loss, they felt cheated. The final minutes had been marred by questionable whistles that seemed to hand the game to the Atlanta Dream. The feeling wasn't just that the refs made mistakes, it was that the entire game had been tilted against them. This wasn't just a loss, it was an insult to their fight, and it left a bitterness that could have easily poisoned their focus. People were calling it a robbery, and that feeling lingered in the air like a thick fog.
Now this one on Lexi Hall got me riled up because this was early on in the game, and this was probably the best defense that Lexi could have played. If you watch this play here, Ryan Howard is going down, Lexi Hall's guarding her, Ryan goes behind her back, Lexi doesn't touch her because she's backpedaling the whole time, she has her hands straight up. Like, this is really good defense that Lexi played here.
In the 24 hours leading up to the game, the atmosphere around the franchise felt bleak. The injury report was a death sentence. 5 players out. The national media had already penned the Fever's obituary for the season, framing them as a one-woman show that had just lost its star. The narrative was clear. Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever had no chance. This wasn't just doubt, it was a consensus. The sense of impending doom was so strong you could almost feel the weight of it pressing down on the team.
There's a certain desperation that has to come with how you play every possession. I didn't feel like in Game 1 we played with that desperate mentality that we needed, particularly when you look at 50-50 balls, when you look at how many times, we didn't get inside the three-point line for a defensive rebound and the ball hit the floor and they were able to get it. There's got to be a desperation that you play with and a sense of urgency that you play with at all times. We didn't have that consistently for 40 minutes in Game 1. I expect us to have it here tonight.
Sensing her team was on the verge of collapsing under the weight of frustration and adversity, head coach Stephanie White issued a desperate plea. Before the game, she spoke about the missing ingredient from Game 1, stating, "There's gotta be a desperation that you play with and a sense of urgency that you play with at all times." This wasn't just generic coach speak, it was a direct challenge. She was looking her players in the eye and demanding a gut check, asking them if they were gonna let their season die quietly or go down swinging.
Stephanie White wants to see her go downhill, be more aggressive offensively. This is a great matchup. Boston against Jones.
Just a fun matchup between two big posts with size, with good.
That challenge hung in the air as the impossible situation became reality. Before the ball was even tipped, the Fever's roster was decimated. 5 players were ruled out, including their generational talent, Caitlin Clark. Sophie Cunningham was missing. Sydney Colson was unavailable, and others were sidelined. The team was on the brink of elimination, their rotation squeezed thin in the most important game of the year. The franchise's decade-long playoff win drought seemed destined to continue.
This is the other Howard, Natasha, for Indiana. Powers with the board, goes up, tough one, and got it!
But what happened next wasn't an act of desperation, it was a calculated act of defiance. Aliyah Boston and her teammates took their coach's challenge and twisted it into something more powerful. They walked onto that court with a plan not just to win, but to dominate so thoroughly that no referee's whistle could ever change the outcome. This was about seizing control of their own destiny and leaving no room for interpretation.
Great job! That was a masterclass on the defensive end of the court. Hell yeah, ladies, hell yeah!
It really was. It really was. I mean, I'm so proud of you. Stepped up to the challenge, back against the wall, and our back is against the wall every fucking game. Come on. But y'all, look, I'm proud of you. We ain't finished though, right? We ain't finished. KK, way to be ready. The second half, your aggressiveness, it was a difference maker. What it opens up with the gravity that you create is huge for us. You gotta stay aggressive.
Hell yeah,
From the opening possession, the message was sent with brutal efficiency. The Fever scored first and never looked back, going wire to wire for their first playoff victory in nearly 10 years. There were no lead changes, no ties, just 40 minutes of methodical, suffocating control. They didn't just beat the Atlanta Dream, they dismantled them, erasing any possibility of controversy by refusing to let the game get close for even a second.
And they have allowed her in their half-court sets so far to just take open drive to the rim. There's the three.
And fans didn't appreciate how good Kelsey Mitchell is, and they're certainly getting an eyeful this year. Here she goes. She's guarded by Petty, takes it right to the basket and misses. It's a hit for Mitchell.
The foundation of this domination was a defensive performance so relentless it could only be called a masterclass. The Dream, a team built on explosive perimeter shooting, were choked out. They shot a miserable 1 for 10 from three-point range in the first half, and every possession looked like a struggle. Indiana's pressure was constant, forcing rush shots and turning Atlanta's offense into a chaotic, disorganized mess. Their rhythm was gone, dictated entirely by Indiana's suffocating presence.
Kelsey, you've had a lot of moments with this franchise throughout the years. Where does leading them to a playoff win at home kind of rank among those?
Oh, man, it takes a village. I think we all piggyback off each other within our group and our organization. So I think it took a collective group effort to be able to be here. And I think that I think our first win here was big for us because we've been resilient throughout the course of the year, and it was just. I don't know, it felt really good to see ourselves on top and do something great for a change. When it comes to us being resilient, have to fight off a lot of ups and downs, backs and forth. And so it felt good for us to really, come out on top tonight.
And the arena responded in kind. Gainbridge Fieldhouse wasn't just loud, it was ferocious. The sound that filled the building wasn't just cheering, it was the sound of vengeance. Fans had walked in carrying the anger from Game 1 and years of postseason frustration. Every defensive stop, every forced turnover was met with a roar that seemed to shake the very foundations of the building. This was their first home playoff game since 2016, and the crowd was determined to become the 6th player on the court.
Stephanie White wants to see her go downhill, be more aggressive offensively. This is a great matchup. Boston against Jones.
Just a fun matchup between two big posts with size, with good anything.
Boston up, under, and in.
At the center of it all was Aliyah Boston. She was the anchor, the immovable object in the paint that Atlanta's entire game plan shattered against. She wasn't just blocking shots, she was directing traffic, cutting off driving lanes, and single-handedly altering the geometry of the court. Every time Atlanta tried to build momentum, they ran straight into a wall named Aliyah Boston. She became the hub through which everything flowed.
Both teams around that 40% mark. They didn't hit that in Game 1, and that's a good way to go for Natasha Howard. Gray goes down. What is she? Good patience by Howard. Mitchell bounce pass. Natasha Howard, and it rolls in.
Howard has had great activity tonight.
The real strategic victory, however, was won in the trenches. In Game 1, Atlanta's physical front court, led by Bree Jones, had given Indiana serious problems. This time, Boston flipped the script entirely. She met Jones's physicality with her own, working her out of comfortable spots on the block and refusing to give an inch. The difference was stark. Atlanta could no longer run their offense through the paint, and once that vital artery was clamped shut, their entire system collapsed.
Boston bottled up, but found Tipson. Another good pass from Boston. Great passing out of double. Pam, before the game, you asked Steph White, how is you doing this? She looked at you and said, the core group has been resilient and flexible. We saw that towards the end of the quarter, and they continue to start the.
But she wasn't alone. With 5 players down, a void was left that one person couldn't fill. Instead, an entire team stepped forward. They weren't just supporting players anymore. They were an army rising to the occasion, proving that the heart of this team was stronger than any single star. And each of them had their moment, contributing to a performance greater than the sum of its parts.
Set the screen. Back to Boston. Mismatch against Alicia Gray, and she buried it. Biggest lead of the night, and it's taken away by who else? Mitchell. Lexi Hall buried it to beat the buzzer. The flourish at the end of the third quarter for Indiana in a game they have to win, and they're up 15.
Kelsey Mitchell, the veteran guard, shouldered the offensive burden with a fire in her eyes. She poured in a game-high 19 points, draining 4 clutch three-pointers that felt like daggers to Atlanta's hopes. Without Clark drawing double teams, Mitchell became the defense's primary target, and she welcomed the challenge, playing with a ferocity that ignited the arena and reminded everyone of her elite scoring ability.
Bench, Nia Coffey in for her. She's got to take advantage of those opportunities as the defense is reacting to Bree Jones, and Aliyah Boston was cooking a little bit.
While Mitchell provided the flash, Natasha Howard brought the grit. She was the enforcer, battling for every rebound and doing the dirty work under the rim that doesn't always show up in the box score. Her relentless physicality wore down Atlanta's front court, sending a clear message that this short-handed Fever team would not be pushed around or intimidated. Her 12 points and 5 rebounds were invaluable.
What stood out to you about able to get going? It looked like there were some turnovers elsewhere, and so you kind of put it into your own hands and had that nice run before some foul calls.
Yeah, I think for me, just continue to be assertive. Just reading the defense, trying to get good possessions going. If I just get the ball, feel it out, see where the ball needs to go next, whether that's shoot it or pass it. I mean, I'm just kind of just taking what the defense is giving me.
Just when Atlanta thought they had a handle on Indiana's attack, a secret weapon was unleashed from the deep end of the bench. Rookie Michaela Timpson, who had seen limited minutes all season, exploded onto the court and scored 9 points in just 9 minutes. Her sudden burst of energy and aggressive scoring was a complete shock to the Dream system, providing a critical injection of momentum when the team needed it most.
That sequence there at the end of the third quarter, just speak to the importance of that, and that kind of feel like sort of like the backbreaker for Atlanta, so to speak, when you.
Yeah, that was great for us. That seriously was scoring the ball and then getting that tip and then Lexi hitting that three. I mean, the energy, everyone felt it. The crowd was going crazy, and we just used that momentum into the fourth.
But the moment that truly broke Atlanta's will came from Lexi Hull. As the third quarter clock expired, she lined it up from deep and launched a buzzer-beating 3 that sent Gainbridge Fieldhouse into absolute chaos. The roar from the crowd was deafening. It wasn't just a cheer for 3 points. It was the sound of a fan base releasing years of frustration and finally believing again. That shot was the dagger that pierced Atlanta's heart.
Speak to the emotions of a win like this. Kelsey already kind of touched on it, but what's the vibe like in the locker room after you get a dominating win?
Yeah, I mean, everyone was happy. The vibes were really great. I think just like Kel said, this was super big for us. Our backs were definitely against the wall in this, and we know that we've just been through so much this season that coming out with this win and then giving ourselves another chance in Game 3, emotions are high.
All the while, Caitlin Clark's presence was felt in a different way. She wasn't on the court, but she was living every moment from the bench, standing, clapping, and cheering with an intensity that radiated through the team. She wasn't a missing piece. She was an emotional amplifier, her energy connecting the players on the floor with the roaring fans in the stands, embodying the unity of the entire organization.
Steph holding them to 60 points today. What did you see that was so effective from you guys defensively and really turned this game?
I mean, our aggressiveness, our attention to detail, our ability to contest without fouling, to be disciplined, in that area, I thought was huge. We played good enough defense down there, and our offense just couldn't get going, and we were able to get it going on both sides tonight. I continue to just be so proud of this group and their resilience, their toughness, and their ability to respond.
After the game, the focus immediately turned to Aliyah Boston. Her stat line of 15 points, rebounds, and assists was impressive, but it didn't tell the full story of her impact. As a reporter asked her what fueled the team's incredible performance, the camera zoomed in and the arena held its breath. Her answer would reveal everything about the mindset that drove this impossible win.
Kelsey, going into a do-or-die game 3, what excites you about that opportunity as a competitor?
I think it would be a really good challenge for us. I think, obviously we want to win a game and they want to win a game, so I think somebody has to lose and somebody has to win, obviously. But I think that we take tonight for what it is and start mentally preparing once it hit 12 o'clock and being able to go into what's important for Thursday. And so, like I said, it's a big opportunity tonight, but you gotta let it be the moment and let it kind of fuel you for Thursday, but you gotta move on.
With a look of intense pride, Boston didn't hold back. She called their defensive effort a masterclass and revealed that the locker room was crazy because the team was overwhelmed with a powerful, raw belief in what they had just done. She said they were locked in, and the conviction in her voice was chilling. It wasn't just a comment, it was a statement.
Steph, for game 3, how much does a win like this give you guys confidence that you can close out the series in a tough situation on the road?
Yeah, I think that this is a group that's confidence is really never wavered. We've been in every kind of situation you can imagine, and we've been able to find ways to put ourselves in position to win, and this will be no different. Obviously, it's going to be on the opponent's home floor, but it doesn't matter. I think for us, our if we maintain our attention to detail, if we continue the defensive effort that we had tonight, and we shoot with confidence, we give ourselves a chance. And this group is continued to show their heart, their character, night in and night out.
Those words meant so much more than just post-game hype. For a team constantly defined by its absent rookie, Boston's statement was a declaration of independence. She revealed that this team's spirit wasn't built around one person, but forged in the fire of shared adversity. Their confidence was their own, and they had just proven it to themselves and to the world. That one win, led by Boston's powerful performance and even more powerful words, completely flipped the national narrative. The question was no longer, can the Fever survive without Caitlin Clark? Instead, the world was forced to ask a new, more dangerous question. How far can this resilient, unified team actually go? They had silenced the doubters in the most definitive way possible. More importantly, this victory redefined the franchise's identity for the future. For months, they were the Caitlin Clark team. Now they had forged a new identity in the heat of the playoffs. A tough, defensive-minded, resilient group with Aliyah Boston as its undeniable heart and soul. This win wasn't just about this season. It was about laying the foundation for what this team will be for years to come. Now everything comes down to a do-or-die Game 3 in Atlanta. The Fever must walk into a hostile arena where the Dream will be playing for their lives. The Gateway Center Arena will be loud, and Atlanta will play with desperation. The test is no longer just about skill, it's about whether they can carry this newfound identity on the road and finish the job. But the pressure has completely shifted. Suddenly, it's Atlanta who is facing a crisis. They are the home favorites, the team that was supposed to cruise to a series win against a wounded opponent. Now they are the ones reeling, their game plan exposed, and their confidence shaken. They are facing a team that has already stared into the abyss and didn't even flinch. The Indiana Fever now hold a powerful psychological edge. They have stared down elimination, silenced their doubters, and found an identity tougher than steel. Led by the calm, unwavering presence of Aliyah Boston, they are no longer the underdogs, just happy to be there. They are the storm that Atlanta never saw coming, and they are playing with a belief that feels invincible. This victory was far more than just a mark in the win column. It was the moment Aliyah Boston stepped out of the shadows and proved to everyone that she is the true, undeniable leader of this franchise. The Fever silenced the refs and the doubters, and now, with their leader showing the way, they are ready to shock the league. If you're fired up, then comment. Let's go, Fever! Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.